Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Chi-Town Sports Podcast. As you can tell, I just woke up. Ben just woke up too. This is probably the earliest podcast we've done. It's for good reason. National Signing Day was yesterday. Early National Signing Day. About 90% of players sign. A lot of big updates in college basketball and the NBA, the NFL. Something we haven't touched on in a while, which is kind of weird. I mean, it's fall. But we've been dedicating our time to college football, and I will have a little snippet about coaching change National Signing Day at the end. I want to first start out talking about the NFL. The Giants' offensive coordinator tested positive for COVID. I believe yesterday. I'm going to let Ben touch on COVID in the NFL as we speak.
Well, we've talked about the NFL struggling with COVID throughout its just this whole season. There's been positives left and right. I saw something today on ESPN. Deshaun Watson hosted an event with 6 of his Texans teammates violating COVID protocol. That doesn't seem like the smartest thing to be doing right now, but he said it was for the opening of his new restaurant. Don't know if that's quite. I don't know if he should have been doing that, but you know.
I mean, hey, if I'm the Texans, I don't even play Deshaun Watson. I just sit him down. Don't get injured. Your season's done.
I mean, yeah, but
he's talented. He has no one to throw to. Like, just let him down easy.
Yeah, they're playing some random guys. Chad Hansen, Kiki Kuti.
Kiki Kuti's actually decent. That's a cool name. But talk about the upcoming games this weekend. Do a little prediction segment. Chargers Raiders are going to be on tonight on Fox in Vegas, 8:20 Eastern, 5:20 Pacific. Ben, who do you have? I got the Raiders.
I got the Raiders, but I actually expect it to be close. The Raiders have not looked good in recent weeks.
I think it will be a good, exciting game. I'm feeling a Justin Herbert comeback game. Justin Herbert, 3,400 yards, 25 touchdowns. Wow.
Leader in the Rookie of the Year, but he has been struggling the past few weeks.
He has been struggling the past few weeks. Yes, he has. Bills Broncos, a 3:30 Saturday game. Hey, I'm down to watch the Bills. I love the Bills. But it's Notre Dame, baby. It's Notre Dame Clemson. I will have a whole show dedicated to Notre Dame, either by myself or with Ben, probably sometime earlier Saturday or sometime tomorrow afternoon. We'll talk about that though. Ben and I don't even know when we're doing them. Sometimes they're random like this. And then there's one more Saturday game, Panthers-Packers in Lambeau, expecting a Packers blowout. CMC reportedly isn't even playing.
I do expect the Packers to win. I wouldn't say blowout necessarily, but I mean,
I think it's going to be a blowout.
Packers
are amazing.
The Packers are great, but they've had some close games with weak teams this year. I wouldn't be shocked if it was a 10-7-point game. I wouldn't call it bad.
All right. Sunday games, the regular noon games, whatever. Let's go to 3 o'clock Central, 4 o'clock Eastern slot. Jets, Rams, Eagles, Cardinals. That is actually an important
for the Bears
game. That is a very important game.
Want to say why, just in case people don't know?
Yeah, so the Bears need to beat the Vikings, and if the Eagles beat the Cardinals, their playoff odds skyrocket to what, like 75, 80, 85%?
Yeah, right now the Bears odds are like, I think 14%. So,
but if they take care of business against Minnesota and the Eagles beat the Cardinals, the Bears are pretty much a lock. So it's
basically a 2-game swing. That would be huge.
Yeah. The Bears can still get in with the Cardinals win, but they're going to need the Cardinals, I think, to lose out. I don't know. It's
first things first. The Bears need to beat the Vikings.
The Bears need to beat the Vikings. That game is at noon on Fox at US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. Ben, I actually watched the Vikings put out something on YouTube about how the metronome collapsed.
I watched that as well.
That was a good 20-minute YouTube video. I actually don't.
During that.
Were you actually?
Yeah.
I actually don't remember that. I mean, it was winter break, and Ben Spence's winter breaks in Minnesota. But, yeah, another 3 o'clock game is the Chiefs-Saints. Probably the best 3 o'clock game we've had in a while. I think the Chiefs are going to win, but I think it's going to be close.
I expect a Chiefs victory. I think Taysom Hill's run is kind of the novel NFL phenomenon is coming to a close. I think teams will figure him out eventually. I think they need Drew Brees back.
Hey, I don't actually. I think Taysom Hill, what they're doing there is just phenomenal. Look at what the Eagles are doing. Jalen Hurts was doing something similar to that. And it worked. They won. Sunday Night Football, Browns-Giants. Not the greatest game. I think the Browns win. But the Giants, if the Giants pull out a win there, they're pretty much set to win the NFC East. I mean, the Redskins are in there, but
The Redskins have been very solid over the past 4 weeks.
I shouldn't say lock. I shouldn't say lock.
I mean, both teams are playing better than they had been at the start of the year, and I think either one could win the NFC East. And actually,
I do think the football team is better, though.
I think the football team could cause trouble in the playoffs. I'm not
So never mind. The Giants play the Ravens, who really need to win at least 2 of the last 3 games, and the Cowboys. They'll beat the Cowboys.
Not beating the Ravens.
I don't think they're going to beat the Ravens. And then let's go to the football team. They play the Seahawks this week. Ouch. And they play the Panthers. That should be a win in Philly.
I think if you get
is Dwayne Haskins starting? Who's the starter this week?
Dwayne.
He is. That's good for Scary Terry in my fantasy team.
Actually, Alex Smith might.
Yeah, it's not confirmed yet because Alex Smith got hurt.
He had a calf injury.
I did see that. All right. Let's move on, Ben, to the NBA. Preseason has been going on. Bulls are 2-1. I'm happy. Zach LaVine had a very good game last night. Kobe White's been playing well. Patrick Williams giving up the start over Otto Porter. He's been playing good, showing some Kawhi Leonard flashes. I've seen the comparisons already. Hey, I bashed the pick. I was mad. But from the 3 games I've seen, with limited preparation, like very limited preparation, less than a month of preparation, he's exceeded my expectations. I'm happy.
I mean, it's hard to take too much out of the preseason. I mean, you obviously want to look good in the preseason.
Mm-hmm.
And if he's looking good right now, that's a bonus. But once we get into the actual regular season, that's when I'll make my assumptions or my observations about if that was a good pick or not. And I guess give him some time. He's considered a little more of a project.
I do feel bad, though. Noah Vonleh tested positive for COVID. That is terrible. His shot to make it on the roster, leave his imprint in the preseason, and he has COVID, so he can't really even play.
Well, I was watching the Kings-Warriors game, and Kyle Guy.
That is random.
Kyle Guy out of Virginia looked like this is kind of a random observation, but he should be a rotation player in the NFL.
He was balling out in the G League last year. Yeah.
He had like 20 points. He hit the game-winning 3-point buzzer beater. The Warriors this year, I don't think they're going to be that good without Clay. I don't know how you feel about the Warriors. Steph Curry.
I don't feel phenomenal
about Steph. Steph's carrying that team this year. They might make the playoffs. They might not.
I feel just incredibly bad for the War. I mean,
Klay Thompson.
I didn't feel bad for the Warriors at all. But when you look at their injuries, the Jimmy High Roller video highlighted that. You look at, I mean, Steph Curry's getting older. Draymond Green's probably out of his prime by now. Steph Curry probably has a year or 2 left. Klay Thompson probably is 2 or 3 years. Like, they're getting old. And
we
don't have
no idea
KD.
how Klay's gonna be. I mean,
Exactly. He's had two like near career-ending injuries, and so I don't think he can return like he used to be. I don't know.
I agree. The Warriors fans might be in for some rough years ahead. I don't think this team is gonna win a chip unless Klay gets really back to himself.
Move on to college basketball. Duke took care of business in South Bend. Sloppy game by the Fighting Irish. Notre Dame was projected by many to upset Duke. It was only a 2-point spread in favor of the Blue Devils. It was in South Bend with a Notre Dame team that just came off a win against Kentucky. And Notre Dame played abysmal. It's the only way to say it. Texas took care of business against Sam Houston State. Purdue upset Ohio State. I think giving Ohio State their first loss. Ohio State.
I'm just going to slide in here. As a Big Ten basketball fan, you can never call an upset because it was at Purdue and the Big Ten on the road.
Yeah, Purdue is the hardest place to play in the country, other than maybe Butler.
Yeah, Big Ten road games are near impossible. I mean,
a bad Illinois team, I wouldn't say bad, beat Michigan in Michigan. So there's that.
Illinois last year was good. What do you mean? They were like the 5 seed.
Michigan was the 8 seed.
Well,
so maybe you're right then.
Projections. I'm just going to note the Big Ten had 10 teams in the NCAA tournament last year. This year, projected.
There was no NCAA tournament, Ben.
Okay. Well,
there was never selection Sunday. There was never anything like that.
Basketball, I agree with that.
The Big Ten is the best conference. I'm not lying with you. I'm not saying you're wrong. It's Big 10, Big 12.
drop off, and then
A huge drop off. Big East, Creighton has played not so good, so I won't say Big East. But
yeah, what's wrong with Creighton? Villanova looks like. Hey,
Villanova has not looked amazing.
Killer. Marquette's a giant killer.
Yeah.
Wisconsin and Creighton now.
Virginia Tech is a giant killer, taking on 2 top 25 teams. Clemson. Yeah,
but
they were in control of the Clemson game. I watched a good portion of that game, which is kind of random, but
Virginia Tech did get blown out by Penn State, who then lost to Michigan. So we can argue that Michigan's better than Villanova, but
they're not. Villanova beat Butler by 19 at home. That was a good win. Against the young Butler team.
Closer than that.
It was Jay Wright's 600th career win. Juwan Howard has like 20. Yeah, impressive game by Villanova. Go to 6-1. And we're number 7 in the country.
Yeah,
Michigan is what? 25th? No. 24th? No.
23rd? How many losses does Michigan have right now?
Are they ranked? No.
They're ranked.
Are they actually?
Yeah, they're 25th.
Of course they are.
I think Michigan's going to rise up these rankings.
Oh my God, of course they are.
Michigan's schedule, I'm just going to say this, for the next 4 weeks is only non-ranked teams in the Big Ten. So that's an easy way to get some get some wins. I could see us being 11-0 and being in the top 15 in 4 weeks.
Okay, then you just get your stuff absolutely railed by Iowa. Just Luke Garza just shoves it.
And that brings us to our next topic, Iowa Gonzaga. Who do you think's winning that one? I think we've talked about this, but
I think it's Iowa. I think when it comes to March Madness, Iowa has just some of the greatest fans in sport. I've randomly turned on YouTube the Michigan-Iowa 2017 Chase Duncan field goal. Just the Iowa fans just love their Hawkeye. Iowa is one of the most unique places to play, and I think even though there aren't fans, even though it's a weird year, Iowa just has so much momentum and just has so much behind. They're going to get tested. Gonzaga isn't going to get tested for much of the season. Iowa will get tested on a weekly basis against teams like Wisconsin, Illinois, Michigan. You happy, Ben? Teams like that. So I think Iowa is going to be the national champion this year. I think it might be Butler, it might be Gonzaga, but my hope for Villanova and my prediction that Villanova would win is not so much anymore.
Yeah,
I think Villanova in a down year is a top 2 or 3 team, maybe a national champion in a really down year. But this year is probably the most stacked college basketball season we've maybe ever seen. I mean, there's so many good teams.
I agree. I think
there's
Iowa,
so much talent.
And for the upcoming Saturday night game, Iowa versus Gonzaga, I think that you have to take into account Gonzaga's COVID stuff. I think that
that's gone. That's long gone. I wouldn't say long gone, but
they haven't played a game. They haven't played a game since. I think Iowa has the advantage just in terms of momentum and games played.
Hey, Iowa is the favorite. That'll be a crazy game. It's going to be played in Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Sioux.
And I think they're playing in the Sanford Pentagon, where I think the Miami Heat G League team play.
Sioux
which Falls? Is very random. The Sioux Falls Skyforce, yes.
South Dakota is the place to play right now because their governor doesn't really care about COVID.
COVID just isn't a thing in South Dakota.
You see a lot of
it's just not a thing. Okay. Let's change the subject. We've talked NFL, COVID, college basketball. Touch on the NBA. We got class in 17, 18 minutes, and then we can go on to signing day and college football. Hold on. We touched on the NBA, but I meant to say talk about Giannis. What am I doing? Giannis signs a mega deal. When I saw that was a wow moment. I did not think it would happen. He said, "This is where I want to start my family. I want to leave my imprint on the city. I want to bring a title to Milwaukee." I think they're going to do it. He has 5 years. He's still in his prime for all 5 of those years. Ben, that looks like a nice LaCroix. But I think they're going to win a title. I don't know if it's this year or next year because the Lakers and the Clippers are still dominant with their big 2 in their prime. Yes, LeBron as a 35 or 6-year-old is in his prime. But I mean, Giannis can recruit players. All the NBA stars do it, and Giannis is a likable guy. He has a great personality. He's respected around the league. Chris Middleton seems like he's the perfect second or third option. Have some good depth. They've drafted well in the past few years. Have a great coach and Mike Budenholzer. They get another star. They get another all-star. Doesn't have to be an all-star starter, but just another all-star. I think they're winning a championship.
And I think Chris Middleton needs to be the third option on that team.
I agree.
To win a championship. So I think the Bucks. That's what they've been lacking. When Giannis gets shut down, when teams guard the paint tight,
They need a three-point shooter.
Chris Middleton hasn't quite been able to create like a two option should be able to. So I think you need to grab a guy. I don't even know who, but someone who's able to create in the playoff.
Hey, James Harden is. I don't think James Harden is what they need. You know what I think they need, Ben? C.J. McCollum. I think C.J. McCollum to Milwaukee. He went to Levi. He's a small school guy, unrespected. If C.J. McCollum joins them, then look at that. You got Giannis at point guard, C.J. McCollum at shooting guard, Chris Middleton at small forward. That is a deadly 1-2-3. That is a deadly 1-2-3. You can even put CJ at point guard, Chris Middleton at the 2, Giannis at the 3. Just a phenomenal big 3 right there. If it comes to fruition, we will see. But maybe my prediction will be right. Maybe I'll be watching this video in a few months or a few years when it happens. They'll pat my back. Signing day. There are always winners and losers. We're going to start off with Michigan, who I think had a very okay day. They lost a D-line recruit who flipped to UCLA from Arizona. They lost a linebacker recruit who's from Florida, flipped to Maryland. But they got Donovan Edwards. Their second probably no. They lost a D tackle to Alabama a few months ago. But probably their second or third most coveted player. I'm saying that wrong. Second or third biggest option or target, I guess.
No, you said it right. That was good.
Yeah, so Donovan Edwards, West Bloomfield High School. His coach went to Michigan. Picked Michigan. It was pretty much a Georgia-Michigan battle the last week. Notre Dame created some hype. It was just hype. But E.J. Holland was all over it, trolling Notre Dame. There was a tweet that resurfaced that I thought was hilarious. So I don't know how long ago it was, but E.J. Holland, the rivals Michigan, the Wolverine writer from Chicago, said in a Starbucks parking lot. It was so random. He was in his car at some Starbucks, and he's like, you know what? Michigan is landing Rocco Spindler, whatever. Like, he put his prediction in stone. He's like, this is going to be the famous Starbucks because this is where Rocco Spindler, this is where I know Rocco. Just some stupid thing like that. And then, like, the Notre Dame site, Irish Sports Daily, which is, like, its own independent site, like, retweeted that with, like, a Starbucks cup or something, like, Rocco Spindler commending Notre Dame. And then, on April 23rd, after Michigan landed Greg Crippen, the center that used to be committed to Notre Dame, they said, so how many recruits can the Wolverines steal from the Irish before the end of the cycle? My take here. And then it was the meme of LeBron and Dwayne Wade, not 1, not 2, not 3. It was 1, and they tried to steal like 3, and they didn't get any. It's just hilarious. Justin Walters, safety from Bolingbrook. Lorenzo Styles, wide receiver from Pickerton, Ohio. And they also, I think we're looking at Tyler Buckner. Even though they had J.J. McCarthy, I don't understand that, but whatever. I don't get what Michigan's doing. But good for Donovan Edwards. Got admitted to a good school. It's going to be the third option behind a bad O-line with a coach that won't be there for another year or so. I mean, good for him.
2 5-stars coming in, running back and quarterback.
I wouldn't call Donovan Edwards a 5-star. I'd call him a high 4-star.
Fine. 2 top 50 players at
They're both
important
talented.
positions.
They're both talented. Yes, they are important positions. Notre Dame's own 5 stars in offensive tackle, which is still important. Every position matters. And that's why the Bears are so bad. I do want to touch on the Bears. We can do that in another episode because Ben and I's time is dwindling down.
But we should
I want to talk about
chips.
What do you want to talk about?
Conference chips that are coming up.
Mario Cristobal going to Auburn too.
We can touch on that first.
So I'm pretty sure Cristobal played for Oregon, so I don't get where this is coming from. But a lot of reports have surfaced that on Monday, after the conference championship game, him and I guess the higher ups at Oregon are talking to discuss a long-term contract and future of him in Eugene. If I'm Cristobal, I don't leave Oregon to go to Auburn. Auburn is probably a little bit bigger of a place and warmer weather and whatever, easier to recruit, but like Oregon is still top notch. There are some schools, Ben, that when you get there, you don't leave to go to other schools, right? You're there. There is no higher what. It's probably I don't know. Bama, Georgia, Clemson, Notre Dame, Michigan, Ohio State, Auburn. You can say Wisconsin. You can
Oklahoma.
say Oregon, Oklahoma, Texas, USC. Um,
There's a
those
lot.
schools, yeah. I'd even put maybe I don't know Penn State. Yeah, there are those kind of schools you don't leave to go anywhere, and Auburn is pretty much just here with Oregon. I doubt he does it, and him. If I'm right that he used to play there, that just makes no
And
sense.
also, Auburn has the Alabama problem and the SEC problem. Oregon has the Pac-12, which is open. And
No, Oregon though is known for going out and playing teams. They're going to play North Dakota State this year. Who North Dakota State probably would have won. This is a down year for Oregon. But then what else? They played Auburn last year. Bo Nix
they're going to
beat
play
them.
Ohio State this year.
They're going to play Ohio State this year. So they play people. I don't really think you can justify that against Oregon. Or against Notre Dame for that matter, because Notre Dame in 2022 is playing Clemson and Ohio State. They were going to play Clemson this year, regardless of if they join the ACC or not. And next year they're playing some hard teams too. They're actually, they're like their cupcake game where they like pay the school. Cincinnati's coming to South Bend. I mean, these games are made 5+ years away, but still, Cincinnati, that'll be a good game.
That's tough.
And that will actually help Notre Dame's resume, I think, too.
If you win.
If we win, but I don't think Notre Dame will do much. Ian Book is leaving. It's pretty much set in stone, but we'll see. Oregon USC, the first game. USC is going to win, but I think it's going to be close and ugly. Ben?
The Pac-12 this year is kind of a disaster all around. I don't think there's a single team that deserves to be in the top discussion. USC is in the discussion mainly because they are undefeated, even though all their games have been close. I could see Oregon coming in and winning the Pac-12 championship just because there's not a good team in the Pac-12 this year.
Yeah, I agree. It's terrible. Northwestern Ohio State's going to take care of business.
But the line is 20.5. Who do you have then?
That's not.
That's a crazy line. I think Ohio State cover it.
I think Ohio State barely. Close. I'm not
like
sure. I wouldn't bet on
like
it.
24, something like that.
Texas A&M is traveling to Knoxville, Tennessee. Texas A&M will win. Whatever. Iowa State, Oklahoma. Ben, I saw that you had Oklahoma winning that game, and I don't agree. I think Iowa State is going to win that game close by a point or two. I think it's going to be a monumental win for Matt Campbell. I'm not taking Oklahoma 5.5.
You're taking the sentimental victory for Iowa State.
I am. I think Iowa State got railed by Notre Dame last year. I'm on the Iowa State hype train. They look decent. Notre Dame beat them by 22, though, which just proved how much talent we had last year, and it was kind of wasted. I mean, that Michigan game we don't talk about that. But let's move on to Louisiana, Coastal Carolina. The Raging Cajuns versus the Chanticleers, just fabulous mascots. This is going to be played in Conway. The line is 3 in favor of the Chanticleers. Ben, who do you have? I got Coastal.
Conway is.
I got Coastal
covered. For people who don't know, that's Coastal Carolina's campus.
It's Myrtle Beach, basically.
Yeah, and I actually picked Coastal Carolina, but I think the best team in the Sun Belt is Louisiana.
They beat Iowa State at Iowa State big. By 18 points.
They lost in a tight game versus Coastal Carolina. I took Coastal Carolina because I want to see them go undefeated.
I do as well. Yeah, I agree with that. Clemson, Notre Dame, the big game of the week, 3 versus 2 in Charlotte. Game day will be there. Kirk Herbstreit, Chris Fowler on the call.
Could it be a better game than last time? I don't think so.
I think Clemson's winning, and that comes from me, a diehard Notre Dame fan. I think it'll be less than 10.5. I think it'll probably be 8 or 9 or 10 points, but Clemson's going to win that.
And this game's huge for Notre Dame because
This game
even
is
if they
huge for Notre
lose, they'll make it. But then they have to play Alabama, and that would be a disaster. I don't think.
Hey, we make the playoffs. We get the recruits. Sayonara. We got our second playoff berth. Boise State,
you're
San
okay
Jose.
with this season ending in no ACC chip and no playoff victory.
We beat Clemson at home. Ian Book broke the all-time win record. Broke a bunch of awards. Got a good recruiting class. I'm all right.
Okay.
I'm content. Boise State, San Jose State, Mountain West championship game. I mean, San Jose State's gonna win. I don't know. Nick Starkel, the ex-Texas A&M quarterback.
And Boise State, that's like always the team, but this year San Jose State,
they've been under the radar. Alabama, Florida, CBS in Atlanta. I think I got 3 cousins going to that game, maybe 4. So that will be a big topic in my extended family. Bama's winning. Sorry, Georgia, you lost last week. You ruined your shot.
And line is
17. I got Bama.
I have Bama. That could be a blowout. I don't know.
Tulsa, Cincinnati, the game I probably will have on at 7 o'clock, which is kind of sad that I have that game on over the CBS game. If Notre Dame loses, then maybe I'll put the Bama game on just on the fact we're probably going to be playing Bama then. And of course, if Ohio State takes care of business, Cincinnati's going to win that game, but it will not be 14.5. That is a hard. Tulsa will make it close. I feel confident to bet on that.
Tulsa's lone loss this year was by 3 points to Oklahoma State.
At Oklahoma State, first game of the year.
This is a very good team.
Yes, it is. Ben is completely right on that. And I think that was a solid podcast, Ben. We're 27 minutes through. You got class in a moment.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next episode of the Chi-Town Sports Podcast.